Hello and welcome to the Dutching channel. It's Saturday the 13th of April 2024 and we're getting closer to 9:30 in the morning, and we've already put the Grand National up on a separate this morning on a separate video. I've also caught up with myself and done the results show from last night, and also I've done the early morning at Chelmsford City because their first race kicks off at 10 o'clock. Not that my first bet's in the 10 o'clock, but it is in the 10:30. But all of them are up and running. And now I'm going to do the Aintree card for you. As I say, if you want to watch a separate video on the Grand National, I've got that on there as well. So let's start with the 120. We'll do these in time order. But I don't know if you've seen any of my recent videos the last couple of days. Slightly tweaked everything that I do, and I did go through most of the short priced runners, and it's costing quite a lot of money not to make your money back on these short priced favourites that don't all win. So I'm going to show, we're going to look at the 120, but I'm not going to do this race for you on how I've changed the system. We'll come back to this. All right, but you can see there's 22 runners in the first, and my top selection would be Montmirail. But we'll come back to that race, and I want to show you the second race that we would bet in, because there's only a field of 8 rather than 22 and take an hour on it. So what we're going to do here, on every race I've got a My SP column in column Z. And this is why I always say to you, I can't bet in races that have horses that have never seen the track or point-to-points, because I can't get a rating. And in this sense, I need a rating that brings up an SP that I think the horse should be. So we're going to start with the 155 at Aintree. And let's go into Matchbook. So we'll move along to the 155. I'm only going to show you this once on this race, and then we'll just go through the other races so you can see what I've given. Now, there was a non-runner overnight in this race. This was Caldwell Potter, but we're not going to start with that. My top selection here is Brighter Days Ahead. Now, Brighter Days Ahead, you can see, is the favourite, and that's currently trading at 2.16. But this is where I need to show you that on a normal betting day, I would be having £46.30 on that to return 100. But now we've slightly changed it, because if Betfair was to be a bigger price than My SP, we would bet it. But it is smaller, because I'm looking here for 3.65. This is how you've got to work it now. This is an easier system to do, because the other one I did feel was a little bit challenging, might be the right word. So all you need here are my 8 prices, nothing else. All right, so if this price in the next column across, which is AB, is less than my price in column Z, then it won't be a bet. All right, but you need to do this again very close, well, I say very close to the race, but where the market's been formed properly, and there could be horses that come in and go out. You could be putting totally different horses in than what you're going to do at this time of the morning. Right, so we're going to definitely say at the moment that this price is lower, so it won't be a bet. So that £46.30 that I would have staked means we're going to stake nothing on that horse at all. This is more of a chance races, but remember, 1 in 3 favourites win. That's your average. So 2 must lose. So if we had 7 races today at Aintree and they were all 2.16, yeah, you could have luck where they all win. You could have luck in your favour where they all lose, or you could have that average of 1 in 3. So that would be our first horse. Then our second horse as we go down is going to be Il Atlantique. And Il Atlantique, that is currently 5.1. Now you can see here that I make this horse 3.98. I think I've spelt it wrong. So let me just change the G to a Q. Right, yeah, so my SP is 3.98. So when I see 5.1, I think to myself, there's value in that because I've got it a point less. So that stake that you can see that automatically comes up, that would stay there now. I would put £19.61 on that horse to return £100. So all we're going to have is whole returns. Every one that we back will return £100. And not in all cases, but we should be able to stake less than £50 as well. There's no cap on it or anything. Our third selection is Jimmy DeSoy. And Jimmy DeSoy is the second favourite at 3.95. Now you can see I think that should be 4.68, and later it may be 4.68. But at the moment it's under what we're looking for, and that becomes a no bet. But of course you're doing this a bit later. Who knows what price that will go to? Maybe that will come down to, I don't know, 5-2. Maybe it will drift out to 5-1. You just don't know. So there's a long way to go on that. Then the next horse we're going to look at is Bugey's Seagull. And this is trading at 110. And I make this 14.59. 110, thank you very much. 91 pence. You know, if you're going to do this on Betfair, you need a minimum of £1. So that 91 pence will return us £100. But you may say to yourself, well, 110, it's not worth doing these. None of these win. And you'll mostly be right, because most of them don't win. But if you look back to Aintree yesterday, the last race went off at 94.3. I made it 75. It becomes a bet. And for 60-something pence or whatever it was, no, £1.06, I should say, it returned £100. So never say never to any prices. Then our fifth selection is Staffordshire Knot. And Staffordshire Knot at the moment is trading at 22. And again, I think it should be 14.72. So that becomes a value bet. All right, to return £100. Then our sixth selection is Esprit de Potier. And at the moment, that is trading at 36. And a small stakes again will return us £100. Mahon's Way. This is 46. And we make it 26.23. So again, that's a value bet. And the last horse we're going to look at is Josh the Boss. And Josh the Boss, well, that's currently 200. And that will need 50 pence to return £100. Now you can see that the only two we don't have in the race are the favourite and second favourite. But these have got more chance of winning because we're staking £30.51. So there's obviously £70 there somewhere which are hidden in the Brighter Days Ahead and Jimmy DeSoy. So that is over 2-1, maybe 4-9, that one of those two will win this race. All right, but they don't always. And all right, you may lose £30, but if you look back to my video that I post every day, look back at the last couple of days, you'll see how this system is totally different than the one I was using. We're staking a lot less money. So if you look at that, at the £30, you would have 3 of these bets, yeah, to get £100 back. But you're only laying 90 for all 3 races. So if you was to manage to get one winner, you've not lost nothing in 3 races. Where my other system, all we'd have done here was brighter days ahead. We couldn't have had all the money on the second one, and that's all we would have had running for us. But now suddenly we got 6 running for us, and I'm not saying they've all got chances, because in my order of the way I have them tells me the order and the way I expect them to finish. But let's try and do this value system where we do have chances of these big ones coming in. I've had loads of big ones coming if you've been watching the videos over the last 5 weeks. That I've had 67.5, as I say, 94.3 yesterday. So let's move on back to the first race. That's how the system will work. All right, you haven't got to do any mathematics yourself, only if you want to use the staking plan. All you've got to do is look at the horses, see what horses are bigger than my price, and then they're the ones you bet on. All right, but I'm not going to go through other races. You can do that, and I'll put don't even need to put these in order of preference anymore that I think they're going to win in. Because as long as you fill in the prices down here, whatever ones are bigger are the ones you bet on. So I've got Monmiral as my top selection. I know people like still doing those, but the rest of it you can work out for yourself. So you've got the form there for the 120. And now we'll move on past the other one we worked out, and we'll come into the 230 where I've given forward plan. But again, you start to think, oh, I'll back that anyway, it's first selection. You don't need to. You just need to make sure that this SP of mine here is going to be smaller than what Betfair are offering. So Betfair, you get in there on a bigger price. So that will be the 230. Then we'll move into the 305. And I've gone for Hewick. I do like that horse. And again, you can see all the other ones up there. And just make sure that when you look and maybe you want to fill these in as you go along, you can see that if that price is bigger anywhere else, then you want to value that. Then into the big one. This is at 4 o'clock. Now I've given Meeting of the Waters. But again, this one's going to take you time to do it. With 34 runners. So if I was going to have a bet in this race, I'd most probably look at starting maybe half an hour or plus that. But it still won't take you long, because you're still at most there, I would think, would be betting half the field. But you'll be having a lot more outsiders than you would normally. But even though I've got these at huge prices down the bottom, I doubt if you'll get a lot of huge prices anyway. So that is the Grand National for you, Meeting of the Waters. But I do like, Nassau on my back last time, that got pulled up. Mile and Mission, I fancy. Korak Rambler, the People's Horse. So I'm not sure you'll get proper value on that. Cocoa Beach, I like. Limerick Lace, I backed at Cheltenham. Panda Boy and Mr. Incredible. I gave this out, Mr. Incredible, anti-post, going back on the day of the Midlands Grand National. I gave this one, so it's there somewhere. Panda Boy I quite like, but of course you can't just keep betting every horse in the race. So you will have plenty here that you're not going to be able to bet on, but there's still going to be plenty of bets on the rest of the field. And then we'll go into our last betting race at Aintree. That'll be the 5 o'clock. Same thing again. I've got all the prices up in column Z. And Founder 50 would be my top selection. And again, if it's bigger on Betfair, I'd be backing it. And that goes along with all the other horses in that race. So that's Aintree done. Chelmsford already on here. And yeah, if you want to have a look back at I've done it this morning, but it was yesterday's results show, then that's already uploaded as well. So you can see how it was actually done and how I won and lost. But it was a nice profitable day again yesterday. So we are picking up from a bad start. So that is your Aintree card done, and good luck with whatever you're playing on the National, and we'll catch up later.